Welcome back. I'm Teresa Lepowski. The Joseph S. Fay was a massive bulk freighter carrying iron ore across Lake Superior during the 19th century, until one day the ship encountered strong winds that pushed it directly into the rocks at 40 Mile Point, causing it to crash and sink to its watery fate as a shallow water shipwreck. Now, Phil, besides it being a stunning thing to look at, what's so important about this shipwreck?
Well, the Joseph S. Fay was instrumental to Great Lakes maritime history in a couple different ways. As you mentioned, the Lake Superior iron ore industry really was at the beginning, the forefront, the frontier in the 1870s. The Joseph S. Fay was built in 1872, and so it really was one of the first large corporate fleets, or part of one, I should say, that carried these cargoes from Lake Superior in massive quantities. And on another tangent from its historical significance is it's the way it was built. The Joseph S. Fay was one of the very first bulk freighters. Today we think of these vessels like the Alpina and other Lakers of the sort of World War I era. The Joseph S. Fay was one of the fourth or the fifth built of these designs. It was built of wood, so it was also constructed during this important transition time from wooden hull construction to steel hull construction. So very important historically for both the iron ore industry and Great Lakes maritime shipbuilding.
Yes. And where can we find the Fay today?
The Fay is actually in two parts, both resting at 40 Mile Point Lighthouse. So just north of Rogers City, absolutely beautiful site. If anybody hasn't been there, I encourage you guys to go. Part of it is in shallow water, about 15 feet, 200 yards from shore. You'll find stem to stern, the entire lower half of the vessel as it still sits there since 1906. But the other half of it, actually the starboard side, was floated and beached just right up the beach, so you can actually walk and see and learn about sort of the inner fastenings and how these boats were constructed, over 100 years ago.
That's crazy. Now, what makes something like this shipwreck something that NOAA would pursue to have on their National Register of Historic Places?
Well, the National Register is indeed a sort of an upper echelon, really significant and important list of America's most important historic treasures. And the Fay represents the perfect candidate for a variety of reasons. The historical reasons, as I mentioned, with Lake Superior iron ore industry and shipbuilding, but also as an educational and recreational tool. The Fay is quite possibly one of the best classrooms outdoors for us. We take plenty of groups from K-12, community college, local partners. We've got volunteers going in there. The Lighthouse does such a great job up there, using the shipwreck to really tell the story of us. Northeast Michigan is a place built on the efforts and the lives of the men that sailed these vessels years and years ago. So it's very important to recognize that fact. And the Fay has a unique opportunity to do that because it's reachable not only by sort of shallow water recreationists, but also people that are just walking up the beach, going to the lighthouse. So it's a great opportunity to really show and demonstrate the national significance of some of these shipwrecks that we have here in Northeast Michigan.
Why is preserving these shipwrecks, I know this one has such historical significance to our particular area, but why is preserving shipwrecks in the broader scheme important?
Well, it presents a very unique and varietal way of really exploring and understanding our history. These things are telling the stories of so many different topics, so many different things that we just can't get in other ways of studying history. So they're time capsules of the life and times of our ancestors. And in a place, like I said, the water is us. We are the water. That is our identity. And shipwrecks play a large part of that. This was, Shipwreck Alley. This is the crossroads of the Great Lakes. Such an important landscape for the travel and movement of goods and people. So incredible stories, the Fay just being one of them, but certainly an important one.
Well, thank you so much, Phil. It's cool to learn about local history like that.